Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about what is depth of field. Actually, what you understand from the word of depth of field. Okay, in this video we are going to discuss about what is depth of field along with the examples. Basically we can explain as depth of field is the area which is focused in a picture. In this picture you can see the face of the girl is in focus but background is in out of focus. This kind of cases, the sharp area of the picture and the clear area of the picture is very less. That kind of cases we are calling as a narrow depth of field. In this picture, overall picture is in focus. This kind of scenarios we are calling as a higher depth of field. Okay, now you have basic idea what is depth of field. Okay, let's go a little further. Look at this picture. As you can see in the first part of the picture, the photographer is taking a photo of a animal. The picture is focusing only the face part, that front part of the animal only. All the areas before the animal and after the animal, that area will be blurred. But only the focus area is the animal, front side of the animal. So that kind of scenarios you can see, as you can see in the picture, the area of focus is very narrow. That kind of scenarios we are calling as low depth of field. We will discuss how how we are getting narrowed depth of field. That we will discuss later. Okay, let's go to the second part of downside of the picture. You can see photographer is taking a picture of the animal again, but in this case animal plus trees plus mountain is in focus. If you see the picture, you can see all the trees plus animal and the mountain is very clearly, because now the photographer has increased his depth of field. How he is going to do this? Okay, let's discuss that part. This is one of best picture I could find out from internet to explain how the aperture, shutter speed and ISO is related to each other or combined to each other. Okay, you can see in first part, that means f1.4, we will see in that one by one columns. We'll go one by one columns. First column 1.4 f1.4 column, you can see the picture. The top of the picture, there's one person is standing. That is a picture which has taken from camera. In this case, the person is in focus, but behind him the background is in blur. f1.4, f value is giving the idea for the aperture. F we are using for the aperture. f1.4 is the largest aperture you can get it from camera nowadays. Okay, in this case, if you need to have a proper picture, now if you are shooting in a daytime, once you set your aperture into 1.4, the amount of light which is coming inside to the camera sensor is very high, so you have to control it. So you have to increase your shutter speed. In that case, in this picture is saying your shutter speed is setting to 1000, 1 by 1000. So in that case, amount of light you can reduce, then you can have little dark picture, otherwise your picture will be overexposed. Okay, then in that case the lower part of the picture is showing how the noise will be in the picture. In this case, ISO will be very less, because you have enough light, so you don't need to increase the ISO, so your picture will be less noisy. Okay, let's go to the top last column of the picture. Last column you can see F32. F32 in the top row of the last column, you can see the picture which has taken from the camera. The person as well as the mountain is in focus. This means the depth of field is high. Okay, how they have controlled. Now you can get an idea how the depth of the field is controlling. You can see F, that means aperture is directly affecting on the depth of field. F 1.4 is giving very narrow depth of field, but F32 is giving higher depth of field. Okay, you got the idea. Okay, nice. Then we'll go to the next, that means last column, second row. You can see the position of the how the behavior of the aperture. You can see the aperture hole is very small. Aperture is very small. F32 means aperture is very small, very less value. This case amount of light is coming inside to the camera sensor is very less, so you have to get enough light to have the picture. So what you have to do is you have to reduce your shutter speed. In this case, the owner of the picture has shown half second is the shutter speed. That means very less value, which is giving more blur image, because if you are shooting some kind of object which is moving, that shutter speed not enough to catch the picture sharply, because picture is moving, subject is moving, so you cannot take the proper detail from the picture. Okay, you can see that is showing in the fourth row of the picture. Then let's go to the last row of the picture, last column, last row. You can see the picture is having more noisy. Why like this? When you are decreasing your aperture, the amount of light is coming inside to the sensor is very less, so you have to increase your ISO. ISO is affecting directly to the light of the image. So when you are increasing the ISO, what will happen? The noise of the picture is getting high. Now you understood properly how you are going to control the depth of field and what is the effect when you are controlling the depth of field. You understood what is the effect to the shutter speed, what is the effect to the ISO, and how you need to control. So you understood the proper idea, you got the proper idea. So what you have to do when you are controlling the depth of field, you have to identify which one is the optimum shutter speed, optimum depth of field I should maintain in this picture. Otherwise, if you are going to keep more detail in the picture, you will lose the stability of the picture or clarity of the picture again, and you will increase your noise also. So you have to identify in between the highest aperture and lowest aperture. You have to identify one number which is giving more clarity and more sharpness in the picture. Okay, here I am giving you one example how the depth of field is varying along in the aperture and the picture quality also. So I am shooting some candles with different aperture and I am seeing the depth of field of each and every picture. First picture, you can see all three candles plus the curtain behind the candles clearly. Okay, then let's go to the second one. Okay, still you can see three candles, okay, and little bit blur curtain you can see. Then third one, you can see the curtain is in blur now, so that area is out of depth of field. And two candles you can see clearly the depth of field is now limited to two candles. Third one and curtain is in out of focus. Okay, I am going to the fourth picture. Okay, here you can see now your depth of field has limited only to first candle and first part of the second candle. Okay. Fifth picture, now depth of field has limited only to the first candle only, that you can see love part only is in focus. Okay. The sixth one, now almost 5 and 6 is in the same, but still you can see little different between the 5 and 6. What is the difference here? Yeah, background of the 5 and 6, if you see background of the 5 and 6, you can see in sixth picture background is more blur than the picture number 5. Okay, in this case you can see depth of field is limited only to the first candle, front part of the candle. Okay, this is one good example which I am giving to you. When you are taking this kind of pictures, you have to change your aperture, and according to that you have to change all other settings. Best thing is, if you need to see this one, if you need to experience these things in your DSLR, you change your settings into aperture priority. When you change like that, you can change your aperture, but you can, camera itself is detecting the other settings like shutter speed and ISO and other things. Camera itself is detecting and it's giving optimum values. So if you are changing the aperture, then you can directly control the depth of field and the picture quality, or what amount of light which is coming to the picture, that everything is decided by the camera itself. Now we are coming to the best part of the video. Why you need to control this depth of field? Why actually? Okay, someone will tell, if you make your background blur, the picture is looking stunning, that picture is looking very good. Yeah, obviously, yes, I accept that, but you need both scenarios in different cases. Suppose you are shooting portrait shots. If you are shooting portrait shots, okay, I accept, you have to make your background blur, and the subject or the person who you are shooting should be in focus. So in that case, you should make your depth of field narrow, and then how you are doing that, you have to increase your aperture, then f 1.4, 1.8, 2.8, 2.2, like that. You have some kind of that kind of value you have to put, then only you can take that kind of narrow depth of field. Okay, if you are shooting like landscape, like you are shooting like mountains, you are shooting like a lake or something, as this picture, you can see the pictures like in this video. This kind of scenarios, you have to increase your depth of field. How you are going to do that one? You have to decrease your aperture, that means f value should be increased, like f 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like that. You have to increase aperture, then your depth of field will be increased, and your area of focus will be increased. This kind of higher depth of field we are using during the landscape photography. This is an example only. It's depend on the application, how you are going to shoot, which subject you are going to shoot, what photography you are interested in. Based on that, it will be vary, and personal interest will be the most important thing here. Yes, that's all about depth of field. If you have any comment on this video, just put in down below, and if you like to this video, please press the like button, and if you are not a subscriber of this channel, please subscribe and give me a help. Okay, let's see you in next video. Until then, see you, bye, thanks.